Trump. This is lawfare, again, to try to steal or to rig an election. You got a corrupt prosecutor, you got a corrupt star witness, you got a corrupt judge whose daughter is one of the leading fundraisers for the Democrat Party, having raised some $100 million. That's the judge's daughter. This is a crooked sham trial to try to hurt the nominee who's going to be the president of the United States, whether or not they like it or whether or not they want that to happen. President Trump is going to be reelected. I'll turn it back to Matt Gaetz to manage this time.
Well put. And I'd now like to hand it off to the one of the past leaders of the House Freedom Caucus, my colleague on the House Judiciary Committee, Andy Bates.
Thank you. Thank you. If you want to know how you can try to impact an election, you can bring a candidate, the candidate for the Republicans, and try to tie him up in court over and over again. And if you really want to make it a sham, you bring a couple of people in who have no credibility, and you put them up as your star witnesses. And we saw it today firsthand. Mr. Cohen admitted repeatedly that he lied. He admitted repeatedly that he did so for his own personal interest. That tells you everything you know about the lack of credibility of this case. And then you add to that you have a judge. You have a judge whose daughter is making literally $100,000 at least because she's going around using this trial to raise money for Democrats. That is what's happening. That is what is happening. And so I think that it's pretty clear to us that this is a sham trial. It's being done for political purposes, and that just should not stand in the United States of America. Now I'm going to give it back to my friend, Mr. Gaetz.
Now my colleague from the House Oversight Committee and from the state of Florida, Ms. Luna.
Thank you. I also want to point out that they are telling people that they can't have cameras in the courtroom, but if they had nothing to hide, and if they're truly being honest about this, why is it that you guys can't be in the courtroom and see exactly what we're seeing? Just because we're members of Congress does not mean we have authority more than you guys to know exactly what's happening in that courtroom. So just an update, the president is doing well. He's in good spirits. We are here today because we know that this is nonsense and should not be happening in the United States of America. Furthermore, to Cohen, who admitted to lying to members of Congress, that's contempt of Congress, just so that you are tracking. And I want to follow it up by saying this. It is by no coincidence that you have Goldman, a member of House Oversight who's a Democrat, prepared Cohen for his testimony, is also retained by the judge's daughter as a client. Does that seem like it's not sham to you? It is corrupt lawfare. It's the Biden prosecutions, and Biden, you're going to lose this election cycle.
Joined by my other colleague from Florida, Mr. Waltz.
I've served all over the world, in Africa, the Middle East, and in South America, and this is the type of country, those are the types of countries where they weaponize the judicial system against their political opponents. Maduro weaponized the judicial system in Venezuela against Guaido. Every prime minister of Pakistan knows if they lose to the other side, they're going to get put in jail. Is this what we want America to become? This is what we're becoming. And then from the great state of Florida, let's talk about the judges. The judges in Florida, in an effort to stay apolitical, won't even attend an event. They won't even take a photo with a member of Congress so that the public believes they are objective. But yet we have a judge that's contributing. We have a judge whose daughter is making money. We have a judge whose family is enriching themselves on what's happening today. Any judge worth their salt would have recused themselves because they care about the people's perception of justice. This isn't justice. This is politics. It's political warfare, and we see it happening in third world countries all over the world. I never thought I'd see it happening in the United States of America.
Now, my colleague from the state of South Carolina, Ralph Norman.
You know, pure and simple, this is, as the sign says, political persecution. No man should have to go through what President Trump is sitting through. A judge is his own daughter who's making millions should not happen in America. The fact that this trial, look at the timing of it. Before the presidential primary, before the conventions, having Donald Trump sit here, their whole purpose is to keep him off the campaign trail so that he can't do what he does best. You know what their intent is? This is their intent, to put him behind bars. And the American people are going to say no. They're not going to put an innocent man behind bars. I don't know what kind of political theater they want to keep going. This is a kangaroo court, pure and simple.
Amen. My colleague, Lauren Boebert from Colorado.
The radical left wants President Trump to simply go away. And if President Trump just went away, this would all go away as well. They do not want him to be in this race. They know that he is the #1 candidate for president of the United States for the 2024 election, and they are doing everything that they can to interfere in yet another election. Well, I got news for the radical left and the weaponized DOJ. President Trump is not going anywhere. He's coming back for another 4 years, and we are not going anywhere either. We are here to stand with him as he stands up for you, the American people. He has laid everything on the line to defend our great nation, and I'm so grateful for him. Sitting in that court today, seeing the lack of credibility from Michael Cohen, who has lied in front of all branches of Congress, of government. This is an issue. Someone who is an admitted liar, who has committed tax fraud, someone who has a podcast, who screams explicitives against President Trump, saying that it would be better for him, that he can't wait for President Trump to be locked up behind bars. Someone who wears a shirt with President Trump behind bars. He said today in court even that it would personally affect him, the outcome of this case. The outcome of this case personally affects Cohen. Everything that he has done personally affects him, and he wants President Trump to suffer. That is why he has done what he has done. That's why he has told the lies that he has. And we are here today to counter those as we stand for our friend, President Donald J. Trump. And I appreciate the millions of Americans who stand in defense of him while we have corrupt judges who he's not even allowed to speak of because of their corruptness. A corrupt judge whose daughter is making some $100 million, raising $100 million for campaigns against President Trump. This is a scam, it is a sham, it is a show, and we are here to expose every bit of it. Mr. President, we stand with you.
My colleague from the great state of Tennessee, Andy Ogles.
You know, if I started a story with a convicted felon and a hooker walk into a bar, you would immediately know that it's a joke. Well, that's what we have here, a joke of a trial. We have a convicted felon who has a vengeance against the president. We have a woman who is paid for sex with a vengeance against the president. This is not a prosecution, this is a persecution. We have a two-tier justice system in this country, and if a former president can be targeted by a woke and corrupt judge, then you can be targeted as well. Mr. President, we've got your back.
Thank you. Also from the state of Tennessee, my colleague, Congresswoman Harshbarger.
Thank you, Matt. You know, we're in New York City and we're watching the persecution of a patriot. You know, we're watching in real time the Biden administration's Department of Justice interfere in a case that should never have been brought in the first place. We have a judge who has a conflict of interest. We have a witness in Michael Cohen who admittedly from the stand admitted to lying under oath. Under oath. Look, if you ever wondered if there were two tiers of justice and if the American government was weaponized against its own citizens, you don't have to wonder anymore. You don't have to wonder. The American people are not stupid. There are patriots in this nation who want to know the truth, and we are here to support President Trump to do just that. And the last thing I will say is what a price to be a patriot President Trump is paying. With that, I'll yield back to you.
Thank you.